Hello and welcome to this edition of Ringside Digest. I'm your host, Kirk Day, along with my co-hosts, Noah Byrne and Nick Miller. How are you guys doing today?
Excited.
Good
Pretty
to
good.
hear. So today we have a lot of trade talk to go over. So we're going to go right into it with the first topic, which is Jacob Chychurn could be traded to the LA Kings. So this comes from a tweet from Nick Kyprios. It says, sounding like Jacob Chychurn, trade centered around a 2021 8th overall pick Brent Clark to the Kings. So I do like the deal. I have to say that. I do like this deal for the LA Kings. Now, getting Chychrun to put on their first line along with like Drew Doughty, if they do that, it'll be good. LA is also available for the cap. It's not too big of a cap hit for them. They don't have to do much to do it. So I do like the deal. And what do you think about it, Noah?
Yeah, I might get a little bit of heat for this one. I don't like it. I'd much rather see him in a Boston or a Toronto, but however, I do see how he works very well in LA. LA has a bit of a lacking blue line, and they're currently trying to make a playoff push. They have an incredible prospect pool, like you said, like Frank Clark, Akil Thomas, Arthur Kaliev. The list goes on and on, right? And that turns out that's exactly what Arizona's looking for. So I do really, really think a deal gets done there very, very soon. I'm in another little tidbit I'm going to go off on. I'm so happy to see Jacob Chychurn finally getting traded. Like, he's a borderline elite defenseman, in a really, really crappy situation there in Arizona. It feels like we've been talking about a trade for 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really long time since the rumors first started about Jacob Chychurn. It's getting a little annoying, but to finally see him get some traction on the Jacob Chychurn move is pretty good. I'm gonna disagree with. I'd love to see him in LA. I love the move for LA. I would love to see him. He fits there really well, and I think I mentioned in a previous video of ours that I would love to see Jacob Chychurn in the spotlight. And what better place to go in the spotlight than LA? That's a perfect spot to put him in. And it's gonna be a playoff team. It's likely going to be a playoff team. If they get Jacob Chychurn, that all but solidifies it. Playing on that first line with Drew Doughty, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Chychurn and Doughty on line one. But LA would likely have to move a first. They'd likely have to give up multiple mid-round picks, and there's been a rumor of the Vejmelka going the other way as well to LA with Chychurn. So I don't know what that means for the LA Kings in terms of having to give up another player or so, but I think that definitely helps LA in net because Jonathan Quick just isn't cutting it anymore. It ain't 2012, it ain't 2014. They're gonna need another goalie.
Yeah.
I think that's their only weakness is that goalie tandem. They do. I mean, is it Copley? I think it's Copley. He's been pretty solid, but I don't know if he's a playoff starter.
Yeah, they recently signed to him an extension as well, so you're gonna see. And they also have Cal Peterson. They have a crowd of goalies, so getting rid of one of them for Vejmelka could be a very good idea.
Yeah.
As well, like as Chychrun this year in 36 games, he's got 28 points and a plus on the Arizona Coyotes. Like, you can't go wrong with that if you're LA. That's everything you need. A bit of offense, bit of defense. It'll just help you out overall. With our second story here, we have Patrick Kane speaks out about the Tarasenko trade. So I'll pull up the screenshot of what he had to say in an interview. It says Patrick Kane acknowledged Friday that the New York Rangers trade for Vladimir Tarasenko was a blow to the potential trade plans. It's not like the happiest I've been to hear about a trade, Kane told reporters. After morning skates, obviously they made the move to get him and another big defenseman. You've got to respect them for going out and trying to make them better. Like, yeah, it kind of is what it is. The way that he said it, he don't really have any other plans. He wanted to go to New York. Now, I know Carolina, New Jersey, and Dallas will probably still be involved in it, but the way he sounds when he's talking about it, don't really want to be moved. I can see him staying in Chicago. There's not too much to go on about it. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, I think I speak for everybody when to see Patrick Kane on the Rangers. It would have been some crazy stuff for sure. For me personally, I would have loved to see Patty Kane zooming down the wing in MSG while the whole crowd goes nuts. It would have been some electric stuff. But as for the kind of tone on Patty Kane's comments, like you said, I don't know if you guys seen like the video or the interview or whatever, but he I don't know. He was pretty down in the dumps, but I don't. As for like, I don't know. I think he ends up staying in Chicago. I really do. Like, you have to think if he was available and wanting to go to the Rangers, they would have waited a little bit longer. Like, I think the price was too high.
For me, I think that's the only reason that the Rangers passed on Kane, to be honest. Patrick Kane, a guy that's won a Stanley Cup, he's won 3 Stanley Cups. He's played alongside Artemi Panarin. Artemi Panarin and Patrick Kane were electric together in Chicago. So it definitely would have been nice to see. I guess maybe they thought that the price was a little bit lower for Tarasenko, and they just pulled the trigger on it while they could, because that price was, as we said, that price was pretty low. So for Patrick Kane, I don't see the price being that low for Patrick Kane. So like a Showtime player like that. But I have to see that as the only reason that they passed on Kane. I do think it opens the market for teams like Dallas and other dark horse teams, like maybe New Jersey if they miss out on Timo Meier, or even hometown Buffalo. But Dallas still isn't ideal in my opinion, considering the right wing depth. More so looking at a team like Buffalo, or a team like on the verge of getting in, something like that, just to solidify their top 6, like the Devils per se, if they don't get Timo Meier. But yeah, it's definitely tough to see Patrick Kane down in the dumps like that. I can see him staying.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah. And with our third and final story here, we have the Edmonton Oilers are discussing a trade with Erik Karlsson. Now, this is something to take note of. Now, the original tweet came from Chris Johnson. It says the Sharks and the Oilers have re-engaged in Erik Karlsson trade discussions. There are considerable financial hurdles on both ends, but it's at least the second time this season they've explored a potential fit. Now, we know Erik Karlsson has $11.5 million for 4 years. That is an absurd contract to try to move. Like, we've seen people try to move contracts like that before. It don't work as simple as you think. So it's going to be a struggle for it to happen. A third team may have to be involved. It's going to have, someone's going to have to do something. Yeah, and it's like Edmonton would just have to move a big contract as well. They can't just get someone to take some cap, someone else to take a pick to take some extra stuff. They'd have to move a big guy, which they don't. They have a lot of top contracts, a few middle ones, and some low ones. They don't have a huge selection to choose from of who they want to move. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I can't be the only one that got a little bit excited when I seen that tweet put out. Karlsson is arguably the best defenseman in the league. Kale McCarr might have a little bit to say about that. But, you pair him with the best player on the planet, as well as Leon Draisaitl, they look like an absolute powerhouse, right? Not to mention, guys like Zach Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, who are both having career years. They look very, very solid with Kane. Or with Karlsson, sorry. Whoops. As for fit, it really, really works. Edmonton doesn't really have that bona fide number one guy. I know Darnell Nurse is there, and I might get a little bit of heat for this one, but I don't think he's the number one guy. Sorry. If you want to talk about what could be going back to San Jose in that sense, you have to imagine it starts with a guy like Evan Bouchard, Dylan Holloway, maybe even those younger guys who haven't really seen the NHL, like Bourgault or Reed Schaefer. It's gonna be a very steep price to get Karlsson.
I'm gonna have to agree with you that Darnell Nurse is not that guy. He's getting a little bit too much money, I think, as well. Like I'd be fine with him making maybe $7 million, but nine and a half. I think it's 9.5, 9.5. It's still a little bit too much.
Crazy.
As for the trade, it would have to be an astronomical sized trade to get this done, because you're gonna need, if you're Edmonton, you can't pay 2 defensemen $9.5 million each when you have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl up on forward. That's just not, you can't do it. It's not gonna work. And it's also it's not like a rental deal where they can just retain 50% and it's fine for a couple picks. They can't do that. It's 4 years left on this deal. They still have to suffer 4 years with $11.5 million. Like I said, astronomical size trade. It would give the Oilers, however, what they're looking for in a proven elite, playoff proven number one defenseman. The guy basically carried the Ottawa Senators back in 2017, I think it was, to the conference final. He did carry them. He was their best player by far. Yeah, and I just think it does work offensively. Maybe not as well defensively as some people might think, but offensively, like the guy's arguably playing better than he did in 2017. Like he does have. I think he's on pace to beat his point record this season. So, and on a bad San Jose team at that. So, I think Kirk, you mentioned the team. There might be a third team involved. There might need to be a third team involved earlier. There definitely would be. And to give up, they need to give up a guy like maybe Holloway or a Broberg, and a lot of picks, or like you said, Noah, like one of the guys that hasn't seen the NHL yet. But yeah, this would be an absolutely astronomical size trade, but exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, the point total for Erik Karlsson, he right now has 73 points in 54 games. Like, he's tied for fourth in the league in points as a defenseman. That's incredible.
Record, yeah.
Like, yeah, and it would have to be a big contract move. It would also be probably some big prospects, because they're not going to give Erik Karlsson away for nothing. You can't do that. Like, maybe before he was good, but that's 10 years ago now. You have to get Erik Karlsson with something incredible to be able to move him. And that's all we got for this video, guys. So we're going to have a lot more stuff coming with trades. It's starting to heat up now, coming on the March 3rd deadline. So if you want to see more from us, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be talking about it all throughout the season, all throughout the off season. It's going to be good. So make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.